Continuing on with the perils of marriage. Elizabeth was 11 years old when Catherine Parr, her last stepmother, came into her life just as her governess Kate had exhausted her store of knowledge, rendering the appointment of some tutors essential. The Queen closely followed the progress of Elizabeth and Edward, who was quite as precocious and studious as his sister. The two children lived in separate residences, but their teachers, all Cambridge men, frequently conferred, employed the same methods, and often taught their pupils together. The only educational difference between them was that Elizabeth was not initiated into the practical aspect of politics. John Check, the most eminent of the tutors, took charge of the future king. For Elizabeth, he recommended a young man named William Grindal, an excellent Hellenist and Latinist, but no sooner was he appointed than he unfortunately died. Elizabeth then requested the services of Roger Ascham, Grindal's teacher and Check's favorite pupil. She got her way, and Ascham exerted a decisive influence on her. He complained of never being able to go to Cambridge because she refused to let him absent himself, even for a few days. He taught her a great deal more than Latin and Greek. In fact, he was so successful that, at the age of 16, Elizabeth could express herself as fluently in the classical tongues as in French and Italian, the language that was replacing Latin in diplomatic circles. Fond of the open air, of physical exercise, games, and sports, Ascham transmitted those likings to his young pupil, who always found it easy to alternate between intellectual pleasures and the more worldly delights of riding, dancing, and the chase. In 1544, by which time he was well aware that he would have no more children, Henry VIII resolved to settle the order of succession by officially rehabilitating his two daughters and designating them his successors in the event that his son died without issue. If they themselves had no children, the crown would pass to the descendants of his younger sister Mary, who had married the Duke of Suffolk after the death of Louis XII. He debarred the offspring of his elder sister Margaret, Queen of Scotland, on the grounds that they were not pure English. A sovereign had to be born in England to rule the country, he considered, and the majority of his subjects endorsed that theory.